lot going on, man. There's a lot of talking, man, about Spence not going to happen, Crawford not going to happen, nothing is going to happen, Thurman popping up out of nowhere. What is going on in the world of boxing? Now, according to some people, Keith Thurman, when he fought Mario Barrios, they made him the WBC contender or contender for the WBC title. Now, according to some sources, now he's miraculously ranked number one. Now, does that put him in line? Whatever happened to Crawford? Because according to Errol Spence himself, that fight was not only being talked about, that fight should be in negotiations. What's going on? What's going on? I understand Keith Thurman want to be a champion again. So does Adrian Broner. Will it happen? That is the question. But besides all that, the fight that everybody want to see is Thurman. I'm playing. The fight that everybody want to see is Crawford versus Spence. Why is it so hard for this fight to happen? Now, you heard Tim Bradley talking about it's a lot that goes into a fight of this magnitude, which I agree. I understand. You have money, you have sponsors, you have venue, you have gates, you have rematch negotiations. And that was my personal thoughts on what possibly could be holding everything up. Because, in my opinion, anybody going to get paid. There's going to be a lot of money on the table for Errol to get paid, for Bud to get paid, from gates to sponsors, the whole nine, pay-per-view, everything. Both guys are going to get paid. Both guys should be getting paid. And I just hope that nobody is just being overly greedy. Because once you become overly greedy, that's when fights that should happen never happen. Because of greed. Because somebody wants their pockets to weigh a little bit more than the other guy. And why? Why? It shouldn't be like that. I mean, if I'm getting paid and you gonna get paid, let's fight. Where this fight happens at, it doesn't matter if it's in Omaha, it doesn't matter if it's in Texas, it don't matter if it's in Vegas, Madison Square Garden, Lake Okeechobee, whatever, it don't matter. As long as this fight happens, this fight has to happen. I don't care. Because if this fight don't happen, Errol's legacy, in my opinion, this is in my opinion, Bud's legacy is going to have a stain on it. Yes, what they have done, I understand all that. But if these guys don't fight, if they don't fight, I ain't going to be able to look at them and say, because I'm going to always look at both guys like, you know what? Why didn't you fight Spence? And you will always hear fans say, why don't you fight Spence? People who support Bud, people who support Errol, they're going to say, if they're true fight fans and not just fanboys or girls, why didn't you fight this man? Because if you are not afraid of anybody, shout out to Coach Boxing Ennis. And I disagree with Boxing on this. And in case y'all don't know what that is, that's father and trainer of pound for pound top welterweight contender, and the guy that's on Errol and Spence's heels, Jaron Ennis. Bozy said nobody or no fighter is afraid to fight anybody, and I don't agree with that. And a prime example, in my opinion now, could be this Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight. Because why, if it really comes down to dollars and cents, I'm going to use Devin Haney and Kambosos as a prime example of what true champions should do. Because Devin Haney took the short end of the stick as far as the money, and he went to Australia, and he took those belts from Kambosos. So if money is the problem between Spence and Crawford, that's going to be an issue. Because Devin Haney, he took less money and he went over there to Australia and he took those belts. Now, if you are Errol Spence You have three of the belts. You have the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA. Now, you only need one belt. You only need one belt. And that's the one that Terence Crawford has. Now, I know for a fact, well, actually, I don't know for a fact. Let me excuse myself. But I know one thing, and this is in my opinion. I don't believe the venue is a big deal or going to be a big deal for Terence Crawford. I don't think so. Not at all. I don't believe the Bud really cared when a fight go down. I think as far as Bud, in my opinion, is going to come down to either money or the rematch clause. Because I spoke about this before in previous videos. Go back and check them out. While you at it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Look, both guys should want a rematch clause. And shout out to Tim Bradley, because he is the first person that I heard say what I've been saying. This fight has the potential to be a trilogy. That's right, trilogy. 3. Uno, dos, tres. 3 fights. Naturally, you want to have the first fight. Naturally. But depending upon who wins, let's run that back. And if it's become split, you won one, I won one. Now let's see who, and this fight becomes a trilogy. And it's going to make money. The things that these guys, if they are encountering problems in the first fight, they should be able to have everything worked out by the second fight. And if the fight turns into a trilogy, it shouldn't be any problems. Because at that point, looking at the numbers from fight 1 and fight 2, people are most certainly going to be on board for this fight. That's how you have to look at it. If you're Bud or if you're Spence, you have to look at the end game. Don't look at it. Look at what's going on right now. Because as the man said, a fight of this magnitude is going to have issues. So the fact that the fight is going to have issues, you have to look at the end game. And the end game is somebody's going to be the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. That's fact number 1. Fact number 2, whoever wins and becomes undisputed, the loser should have an opportunity to run it back. So that's securing the second fight. Now, as I said, if the win-loss ratio becomes split, we both have won a fight. Now we got to run it back a third time. And the best 2 out of 3, hey man, what it takes all. And if some strange enamored reason it becomes a draw or something like that, could you just imagine a 4th fight? That's crazy. But I said this before, if this fight turns into a 2-3 fight situation, both of these guys are possibly going to retire and then move up. Errol already said he wants to move up. He's already big for 147. If there's anybody who sticks around, it will probably be Bud. That's if he doesn't move up to fight Charlo, which he said that's what he wants to do. If he can knock off Errol Spence at 47 and become undisputed, which would be phenomenal, he will be a 3-division undisputed champion. Phenomenal. Now, if he can move up, take those belts from Charlo, after that, man, Bud will probably retire. I'ma holla at y'all. Peace. That will be phenomenal. He will already be in. He already probably in the history books, but that will be solidified. His spot will be solidified. This is Terence Crawford. So these guys have to stop pricing themselves out when it comes to this. I mean, when it comes to this fight, because if it really is a money thing or something like that, I mean, come on, man. Like y'all, I mean, people got to get it together, because you got not only legacies on the line, but the sport of boxing itself needs fights like this. The sport of boxing needs fights like this to happen. And when fights like this that should happen doesn't happen, that's a travesty, man. That's one of the reasons why, like I said, I salute Jaron Ennis, because he like he said, I want to bring the old style of boxing back, man. You know what I mean? With the best fight the best. Stop always letting the money get in the way. Let your team secure the bag. If you are so worried about money, that means you have no, I mean, you really don't have any faith in your team, because your team is supposed to secure the bag. Your team is supposed to make sure your financial literacy and legacy is upheld and fulfilled during and at the end of your career. But as a fighter, you are supposed to fight the best competition available. If you want to be the best, if you want to go down as a pound for pound great. But if you do not want to go down as a pound for pound great, I'm going to call out somebody like Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, he just got finished saying himself, like belts and all that, he really don't care about that. He just want to fight, theoretically, the best competition or the best names. In other words, what he's saying is he wants to fight the people that he can get the biggest check from. And right now, that's Gervonta Tank Davis. But in my opinion, if you are a fighter, you'll fight, the names will come. The names will come. Once you become a champion, once you receive and get these belts, those people is going to come to you, especially if they want to be champions themselves and you have something that they have, something that they need. If you have something that they need, they will come looking for you. You don't have to go looking for them. That's the beauty about being a champion. If you are a champion, the opposition is going to come looking for you. So you ain't got to run, you ain't got to hide. All you got to do is stand 10 toes down wherever you may be at. And guess what? They're going to come to you. In my opinion, that's the beautiful thing about being a champion. That's the beautiful part about sitting on top. I ain't got to call nobody out. I ain't got to look for nobody. They will come to me. So just make sure when you come to me, you have your mind right. You have your business prowess correct. And when it comes to the dollars and cents, make sure that you have an amicable and feasible number to throw out there to pique my interest. And then we can start talking. Because we already know we go fight. That's what we do. That's our job. So if you come correct initially, the rest should be easy. Spence, Crawford, these two are pound for pound, two of the best fighters in the division. I'm not going to say two of them. They are the best. They are two of the best. Because Boots he's already solidified. People already know that not only he's on their heels, but some regard Jaron Boots Ennis as the best welterweight. And he doesn't have a belt. And he hasn't fought yet the two top guys. But he's willing to fight the two top guys. He's called out the two top guys. He has missed one opportunity already for a championship when he got, for the no contest with the Van Heerden situation. If that fight was able to continue and he beat him, chances are Jaron Boots Ennis will be a champion already. He will be a champion already. And now that he has won the IBF Eliminator, now his chance to become a title holder is grown even that much more. So if people are talking about Keith Thurman getting a shot at the WBC, what about Jaron Boots Ennis getting a shot at the IBF? Because no disrespect to Keith Thurman, but I would rather see Keith Thurman fight Jaron Ennis first. Because Thurman, if he becomes a champion with his history as far as injuries and all that, do you really think that Keith Thurman, if he was able to become, just to say hypothetically, he was able to become a unified champion, he's going to draw that crap out. He's not going to face whoever is the other belt holder. He's not going to face them right away. If that's Crawford, he's not going to face Crawford right away. Nah, he's probably going to wait a damn year. Meanwhile, both of these dudes are going to get older. No. The fight that needs to happen now is Spence versus Crawford. Whoever becomes undisputed, at that point, Thurman or Jaron Boots Ennis to get a shot at the WBC or the IBF titles. And after that, let the chips fall where they may. Because I believe that most certainly Spence and Bud Crawford can beat Keith Thurman. Keith will make it interesting, in my opinion, but I believe that he'll be defeated. He'll be defeated by Jaron Ennis. Ennis also called Keith Thurman out. He called one time out a long time ago. He has called all these guys out a long time ago. It ain't nothing new. That's the beauty, and that's one of the things that I like about Boots' game. Like he's been calling these dudes out for years, since he was younger. I guess he's still young, but I'm talking about when he was still younger. And he felt as though and was confident in his abilities in the ring, experience, lack thereof, or whatever, that he could beat these top guys. And that was years ago. And he still feels that way now. So as I told y'all before, if a fighter says that he has the ability to go in there and defeat whoever, why not give him a chance? Why not give him a chance? It's already been proven that he has the goods. Already proven. It's just a matter of competition, right? So if it's a matter of competition, and all the fights, all of them, that Boots had fought up until this point, they've been saying step up, step up, step up. It's his toughest test to date. It's his toughest test to date. But what has Boots went in there and did? Beat the hell out of everybody. Everybody, stopping everybody left and right. The Van Heerden fight broke his streak of getting everybody up out of there by the sixth round. But even after that no contest, due to the no decision or whatever, he still continued to dominate and knock everybody out. He is not with the distance yet. He is not with the distance yet. And Boots himself has a solid frame. He already said he's probably going to finish his career probably at 68. But he wants to clear out 47, then 54, so on and so forth. And I believe that he can do it. And this is just a start. And not only that he can do it, I believe that he wants to do it early. He wants to get everything in the 147-pound division. Like if he becomes undisputed champion, let's just say within the next 2 years, he's probably going to fight the best at 147 and then move straight up. He's not going to try to hold on to those belts and babysit them. No. He's going to move right to 54 and do the same thing. That's what makes him dangerous. And that's what makes a lot of these dudes nervous, because even if you become a champion, how long will you be a champion with somebody like Boots in your shadow, on your heels? How long? That is the question, especially at 47. Whoever becomes the undisputed champion, you have to give these dudes their shot. And if you give Keith Thurman a shot at the WBC title and he happens to knock whoever off, then guess what? Then Thurman is going to have to fight Jaron Ennis. And if he was scared to fight him all this damn time, when he becomes an undisputed champion, if he was able to knock off Spence or Bud or whatever, he's going to try to hold on to those titles for as long as possible. And that's how it shouldn't be. That's what these dudes is doing. They babysitting these belts. No, fight the best. Fight the best. Prime example, you look at Pacquiao when he just lost, when he beat Gary Russell. His first title defense, they put him there with a tough competitor. And guess what? He lost. So it ain't no guarantee that just when you become a champion, you will be holding on to that belt for a long period of time, because that next fight, depending upon who you fight, they can be hungry enough to take what you got. And it's going to be the same way. I'm telling y'all, man, with Spence and Crawford, these dudes are going to wait so long. Excuse me, my bad, y'all. They're going to wait so long. Boots or whoever, I'm telling y'all, man, once they fight these dudes, they're going to destroy them. Fight may be interesting, but I'm telling y'all, man, you know what I mean? Like skill-wise, more importantly, the mental, I got my money on Boots, man. As talented As Spence is, as talented as Bud is, I'm telling y'all, man, I got my money on Boots because Boots, he wants it. He's been patient. He has been patient. We've seen the moves like Steven Espinosa, you know what I mean? Like they signed him. He has a certain fight deal. So they believe in his talent. They see not only the potential, but they see what his future could look like because of his skill set and his skill level. And more importantly, there's things and dimensions of his game that we have not seen yet. And that's what's scary because he has showed nothing but dominance up until this point. And the fact that he's a switch hitter when he fights somebody like Spence or like Crawford, especially Crawford, I believe Crawford will be a tough test for Bud. Between Spence and Crawford, I believe the toughest test between the two will be Bud. And Bud recently just spoke on that himself. He gave Jaron Ennis much respect, much props. And he said down the line, if that fight happens to come across my table, he said, I'm going to take, he said, like, in other words, let's do it. And I respect that. And I believe if Terence Crawford stepped up and they fought, this is Crawford and Bud, that'll be a hell of a fight. That'll be a hell of a fight. A hell of a fight. But will it happen? Because if we looking and we're waiting and we doing all this estimating and guessing and wondering why with Spence and Crawford, it's not even fair to even think about potential fights like that down the future. Because these fights are happening right now. The fights that should be happening. So forget about potential fights. Forget about what possibly could happen because the fights that actually could happen and should happen ain't happening. There's no reason why Spence and Crawford shouldn't be fighting. We should be talking about that fight right now in the sense of the fight is happening. Like we have a date already. They said it's going to be XYZ. Instead of everybody keep making all these fake videos talking about the fight is in October, the fight is in November, they're this much closer. It's all speculative. It's all fake news. It's all bullshit. When the truth of the matter is, like, both of these dudes have they definitely still may be talking. That's one thing that we honestly know because both guys have come out and said that is the only solidified fact and everything is that both sides are talking. And the simple fact that Terence Crawford, he isn't tied to the top rank situation anymore. He's pretty much the captain of his own ship. Come on, man. Like this fight not only should happen, but it also puts a lot of weight on Bud's shoulders because the fact that he isn't with Top Rank or anybody like that, now a lot of these decisions as far as something not being able to happen is going to be on you. Because if I'm a money man and I want to invest in this fight, it will be a no-brainer. I will have no problems about helping fund or making this fight happen from a financial standpoint. When you're talking about sponsors and people to put money up to make sure these guys got the purse that they deserve on both sides. If I was a money man and one of the people they came to for this fight to make this fight happen, I would have no problem at all. Fights like this with two competitors like this, I mean, that's money in the bank. That is literally money in the bank. What y'all need? $5 million a piece. That'll be my part. Because you got some big players behind the scenes, whether it's Dubai, whatever. You got people willing to put up a lot of money to see and make this fight happen. But I believe at some point, somebody may be pricing themselves out or up. And who would it be? Spence already said he feels as though he should get the bigger part of the pot. But you heard Steven Espinosa say himself, there are qualities and things that Terence Crawford brings to the table that he has to be respected and paid well and accordingly also. So it can't be no 60-30 or nothing, 70-30, nothing like that. No. No. And that's how it should be. It should be marginally close. Spence may get a little bit more, just a little bit more, but Bud is still going to eat lovely. And that's how it should be. And it shouldn't be a problem with that. If you're Errol Spence and his team and company, it shouldn't be a problem with that at all. And if it is, that means deep down you're not really not only committed to the fight, but you may have doubts about your skills. You may have doubts that you're going to lose. Because if you feel as though you're going to win this fight, look, man, as long as I get something nice, which you already know that you will, let's make the fight happen. Just to step over to the NBA real quick, you seen what James Harden just did? James Harden told the Sixers, man, look, you ain't got to pay me X, Y, Z. Y'all take some of that money. Y'all go out there and get the pieces that we need for us to win this thing coming into the next season, and you give me what's left over. That's a champion. That's somebody that wants it. That's somebody that gets it. And it's the same thing for Spence versus Crawford. Financially, y'all do what y'all got to do. Put everything together. Make sure everything is going to happen how it should be happening. Make sure that I eat so I can feed my family in case I have to walk away from this thing. And same thing for my opponent. And let's make this happen. Period. It is no way this fight shouldn't happen this year. No way. In the next 90 days, this fight should be taking place. Both guys, in my opinion, should be or are working out. I know for a fact Terence Crawford is. I know for a fact Terence Crawford is in the gym working. Well, Mike Tyson came to visit him in Omaha on Mike Tyson's birthday. Bud was already in the gym working. You look at Bud Crawford now when he just got finished doing a recent interview. Bud is already not only, he looked damn near in fight shape, but he looked damn near in fight shape. Spence blows up. Spence blows up. The last when he did the interview with Frank Martin, like he looked like he was starting to get like his weight came down because like a couple of weeks before that, shout out to Ellie Seckback. Ellie was interviewing Errol and Derrick James in the gym, and Errol, he had the trash bag suit on, you know what I mean, hitting the bag, sweating it out. So between the two, like Errol, he blows up. And so that just tells you, man, like Errol, he needs to move up to 54. So when it comes to the rematch aspect of this fight, and like I said, say if Bud wanted the rematch clause and Errol didn't, because whether he wins or whether he loses, he's moving up to 54. Which, if you think about it, but you know what? Let me correct myself, because he said, even though Charlo's his boy and shout out to Texas and all that kind of stuff, if the money was right, they'll fight each other. So maybe him moving up to 54, I mean, because what's the point of moving up if you're not going to be a champion? And the champion at 54 is your homie. So unless you're willing to fight your homie, what's the point of rushing to get to 54? So if he's moving up to 154, or he wants to move to 154 after this fight, then the fight between him and Charlo may be on the table. Low key. They might have done talked about it already. Like, you my dog and everything, but like if you move up and the money is right, and you know it's gonna be a Texas thing, you know it's going down at the Cowboy Stadium, that's gonna be locked. That's gonna be set. That's gonna be money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's a lot going on with this fight. I like Keith Thurman, but if Keith Thurman is looking to fight somebody, Keith Thurman should fight Jaron Ennis. Spence Crawford, Thurman, Ennis. And like I said, shout out to Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz. Shout out to the heavyweights. That's also going to be a super explosive fight. I believe that's September 4th. Andy Ruiz looks in phenomenal shape. Luis Ortiz, always in pretty good shape, dangerous. Southpaw. heavy hitter. Seeing what he did to his last opponent. I mean, dude didn't. Luis Ortiz hit this man. I mean, the dude. I mean, he looked like he didn't know what planet he was on. So Luis Ortiz, man, is a dangerous puncher. Andy Ruiz has power, man. And Andy Ruiz, he's one of the fastest heavyweights in the division. Besides, I would say like Joseph Parker. He has fast hands. I mean, he's a big guy. He has fast hands, and he's in better shape than he was. So Andy Ruiz is a problem, and he's looking to fight Deontay Wilder. So if you trying to bring Deontay Wilder, man, out of retirement, that's going to take a lot because Wilder already said himself he's making a lot of money outside the sport of boxing. He's making a lot of money, so it don't matter, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a comeback for him. Not at all. So, man, we're going to wrap this up, man, because I'm thirsty. I need something to drink. Talk that you stand up as your boy.